Iran detained these US sailors after they entered its waters. The US apologized and they were later released. But despite the incident, relations have not been affected. Both the US and the EU are preparing to lift sanctions on Tehran this weekend in what is being called Implementation Day, and everyone is hoping for smooth sailing.
I also want to thank the Iranian authorities for their cooperation and quick response. These are always situations which, as everybody here knows, have an ability, if not properly guided, to get out of control.
The Obama administration worked hard last year to convince lawmakers in the Senate to back a nuclear deal with Tehran. It was perhaps the greatest foreign policy victory for the president. He was careful not to talk about Iran in his State of the Union address, to the frustration of Republicans.
They wanted the president to say more on Iran. They wanted the president to say more about his foreign policy decisions. But he left that out, and I think there was a criticism for leaving it out, but at the same time, it didn't give them real bait to go after the president.
President Hassan Rouhani has himself come up against hardliners back home. Years of distrust in Tehran over US intentions has made it difficult to get agreement in parliament. But the success of the deal is partly due to the personal relationship between John Kerry and Mohammad Zarif. The two foreign ministers have reportedly warmed to each other after years of sitting at the negotiating table together. In return for the gradual lifting of sanctions, Tehran will reduce its uranium stockpile to below 300 kilograms. It'll also cut its uranium-enriched centrifuges to just over 6,000 from 19,000 at its Fordo and Natanz enrichment sites, and it will instead ship its uranium to Russia to be processed. If the deal goes ahead as expected, about $30 billion of Iran's estimated $100 billion in frozen assets are expected to be released straight away. But there's a thorn in Iran's side, its regional rival, Saudi Arabia. It's flooding the oil markets, producing in excess of 10 million barrels a day. And if Iran enters the market, it'll have to deal with oversupply. The US will have to play a delicate balancing act in a Middle East beset by sectarian differences. For now, though, both Washington and Tehran are cautiously optimistic there'll be an announcement this weekend. It will turn the most heavily sanctioned country in the world into one of the most watched. Ashraf Helmi, The Newsmakers.